lately I've been seeing loads of boxing fans complaining about the Logan Paul brothers, the fact that they're able to, despite the fact that they don't really have that much boxing experience, manage to make like 20-30 million pounds, while boxers within their own sport can't command them types of purses. The argument I've been hearing from a lot of boxing fans is that if boxing actually got its acts together and managed to actually make the big fights happen, like the Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford fight, or the Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua fight, or even back in history times, like for example back in the past, like Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao, then these YouTubers definitely would not have been fighting. But it's a bit of a flawed argument, because the fact is, the reason why these YouTubers are making all this money is because they already have an inbuilt audience with their channels. They've got 20-30 million subscribers subscribed to them, and the fact is, regardless of them fights happening or whether them fights don't happen, let's just say we lived in a hypothetical universe where all the fights that boxing fans, hardcore boxing fans, wanted to happen definitely happened, right? So Errol Spence definitely fought Terence Crawford. Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao didn't have to wait 5 years to happen. It happened immediately. There was no hold up. There was no negotiation. There was no random drug testing and purse splits and all of this other politics that stops fights from happening. Let's just pretend obviously Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua were going to fight before the arbitration case actually happened. As soon as that happened, it threw a span in the works and that fight never happened. But let's just pretend the arbitration case never happened and Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua, it was penciled in. Let's just pretend COVID never happened. Let's just say that fight was to happen in Wembley with 100,000 British fans. How does them three fights happening and the fights that boxing fans want to see happening stop? How does that actually stop YouTubers fighting each other? It doesn't make any sense. It's a flawed straw man argument. The fact is, the reason why YouTubers can fight each other is because they've got a huge audience already latching onto them. So if you look at someone like Logan Paul, he's already got 20-30 million subscribers. For them, literally, and obviously they're already millionaires, so they can literally go to a network broadcaster and say to them, listen, I've got this huge audience, right? If I do an exhibition bout with whoever, it can literally be anyone, you're guaranteed to make £1 million on pay-per-view or whatever. You're guaranteed to do 1 million pay-per-view buys or 800,000 pay-per-view buys. The fact is, from a lucrative perspective, if you're looking at it purely from the perspective of money, the Logan Paul brothers and YouTubers in general, like KSI, the reason why they're commanding these purses is because first of all, they've got a huge audience that's already latching on to everything that they're doing, and second of all, they're independent, so they can go to a Triller, they can go to a network and have a one-off fight. They can go to Sky Sports and do pay-per-view events through that. They're not locked down with promoters. They're not locked down with different entities. Now, even if them fights were to happen, like Terence Crawford was to fight Errol Spence, Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather fought immediately. There was no 5-year gap. The fact remains, them fighting or not fighting does not stop YouTubers from fighting each other. The reason why YouTubers choose to fight each other in boxing and they don't go into anything like MMA is because MMA is a mixed martial arts. For you to compete in MMA, there's several disciplines that you have to be attuned to. You have to be a good wrestler, you have to be a good striker, you have to be good on the ground in terms of your submission game, you have to be good with elbows, kicks. There's a lot more facets that takes a lot more time to learn. Boxing is a sophisticated sport, but in a sense it is a simple sport in the sense that you're literally just using your hands. So for a YouTuber to fight another YouTuber, the learning curve, even though it's steep, it's not as wide as if he was to learn MMA. With MMA, you literally need to learn several different martial arts to just compete. So that's the reason why YouTubers always opt to fight in boxing than MMA, and I don't think it's a negative thing. The fact is, these exhibition bouts and such, they've been going on for years. Muhammad Ali fought a wrestler. Even if you look back in the day, the argument that, like, if boxing gave us the fights that we wanted, YouTubers would not have the platform, is just truly flawed. It doesn't matter whether we get the fights that we want or not. YouTubers are going to fight each other, and the reason why is because, first of all, they've got their own audience. Second of all, the reason why they choose boxing is because it's a discipline that's fairly basic compared to mixed martial arts or any other discipline they could potentially do. And third of all, networks are willing to pay a huge amount of money because, again, it's a huge revenue for them. Like, truth be told, Logan Paul and the Paul brothers are literally the highest paid boxers in the sport at this moment in time because of their inbuilt audience. So yeah, that's my view on the matter. Tell me what you think below. And obviously, I'm not even that mad at Logan Paul and the Paul brothers doing what they're doing. They're showing what can happen if you do build up an audience over time, and I think boxers could learn from that aspect, like the marketing side of boxing, how to make yourself an entity, how to have leverage over networks, and how to actually negotiate. Obviously, like a lot of boxing purists are mad because, like, you've got fighters that have sacrificed for years and they're not even making half the money that these YouTubers are making. But the world ain't a fair place, and the fact is, the sport in general, in terms of who gets paid the most, is not a meritocracy. It's based on, it is in a sense a popularity contest. The fighter that has the most popularity and the fans and brings in the money is likely to be the one that gets most of the attention. And if you get most of the attention, you get most of the money. That's how the sport works. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the matter. Tell me what you think below, comment below, and obviously subscribe. I've got a lot more content coming your way. Peace out.